Hi there. Hope you're having better weather where you are than where we are. Very cold and snowy and Anyway, saw a ton of movies over the Martin Luther King weekend and want to give you a quick rundown. You can read the full write-ups of all of these movies on my blog, the URL which is below in the comments section. But I'll give you the 30,000 foot overview. Saw Paddington, saw American Sniper, saw Foxcatcher, and Selma over the weekend. I don't know what it says about me, but I think my favorite of the four movies was Paddington. It's a very sweet-natured film, very British, really is one of those rare children's movies that captures the essence of a children's book, both visually and narratively. Really honors the spirit of the original Paddington series by Michael Bond. The computer-generated bear, you forget you're watching an animated bear. The voice work is so sweet. The plot is lovely. Sally Hawkins and Hugh Bonneville as Mr. and Mrs. Brown do such a wonderful job, particularly Sally Hawkins, who had me near tears a few times. She's just does such a nice job creating this dynamic relationship with this little bear. Probably the only misstep is Nicole Kidman as a Cruella de Vil taxidermist that just didn't need to be in there. There was enough rich material with the family and Paddington and their dynamic and the message about accepting others and welcoming them into your home. I thought it really was a special film and worth checking out. Foxcatcher, also on the other end of the scale. It's very bleak. I had this great conversation with my mom earlier today about the film. Actually, I've had several conversations with her about the movie. It's just that kind of film. You want to talk about it. You want to think about it. She described it as Shakespearean, Richard III, essence of that in there. Also Eugene O'Neill's plays. It has elements of that kind of Long Day's Journey into Night feel. Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo and Steve Carell and Vanessa Redgrave are the lead roles in this film. That's about Mark and David Schultz, who were Olympic wrestlers in the 80s, who were adopted, I guess, for lack of a better term, by John DuPont of, yes, the chemical empire, who had a thing for wrestlers. The film does a nice job of dealing with that at a high level. There's a lot of ambiguity, which is what makes the film so interesting, and really thematically does a nice job reminding us that we're all kind of a mess, whether you're the 1% and have more money than God, or you're an Olympic gold medalist, or you're just someone on the periphery. Everybody wants to be validated, everyone wants to be acknowledged, and I think both Steve Carell's character as DuPont and Channing Tatum as the younger Schultz brother telegraph that sense of being on the outside and on the periphery and really wanting someone to acknowledge that you're here and that you have some value to provide, and when that doesn't happen, tragedy can ensue. So definitely check that one out. I wish it had been nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated for Best Director and 2 acting awards for Ruffalo and Steve Carell. Selma, also just a magnificent film. A little bit of the biography film cliche occasionally, where you have 2 characters come together and say a few sentences and then cover 2 or 3 events just in one conversation, but mostly it's a very nuanced, thoughtful film. The leads, particularly Martin Luther King, just does a marvelous, marvelous job inhabiting the soul of this very important figure. But the director, Ave DuVernay, I'm probably mispronouncing that, is not afraid to be critical of the subject matter, chiefly Martin Luther King. Some of the exchanges he has with Tom Wilkinson as Lyndon Johnson, very telling about the strategy that both King and Johnson employed for their various causes. Governor George Wallace, who's portrayed by Tim Roth, also a lot of interesting allusions to political opportunism and what people will do, what lengths they will go to achieve their ends, but mostly a very inspiring piece, very moving. The King speeches as depicted in the film are spot on and as thrilling and as moving as they must have been to hear live, to hear them in recreation. The 4th movie, American Sniper, is the only one that I just didn't care for. It's interesting to track a lot of social media this week. There's a groundswell of folks who seem to have adopted this movie as the second coming, and if you dare criticize it, you're a bad patriot, you're not a good person, you don't understand or love this country. Quite the contrary. I think anybody who sees the film and finds it problematic, they're just as patriotic as anybody else. That's what's great about this country. You can see a piece of art, you can hear some expression, and you can have a conversation where you can say, I'm just not sure I like that very much. Bradley Cooper does a wonderful job in the title role. I just wish he'd had a better film. The scenes where he's at home and dealing with the repercussions of the war effort in the Middle East are very powerful. However, when we go to Iraq and we go there 4 times for 4 tours that all seemed rather interchangeable in the course of the film, it turns into a video game where the targets of attack all seem interchangeable. They're referenced as savages repeatedly, and I just felt that it's missing some nuance, may even be a little reckless in this day and age, and I hope people watch that movie with a critical eye and maybe check out some other films that deal with that subject matter in more sophisticated, at least to me, ways, like Stop Loss, Zero Dark 30, Jarhead, and other films of that nature. But a lot of great movies out there to see. Go to the movies, enjoy yourself, call your mom, call your friends, talk about what you saw, and encourage other people to go see them. Check you out later. Bye.